Welcome back. All right, so I want to talk about Brad Marchand today. He reached game number 1,000 last night. He reached point number 900 early in the season, and I think it's worthy to make a video about him. There's a playlist on this channel of Brad Marchand videos. I will add this to said playlist. That playlist doesn't include his two most recent suspensions either, which is something that absolutely overshadows his career. And I 100% understand that. And if I had a dime for every time somebody's asked me, how can you be a Bruins fan when Marchand's on the team? My answer is I was a fan of the Bruins decades before Marchand showed up. So he's 5'9", 176 pounds. Marchand, I think maybe part of what his game is in part because he was smaller than a lot of other guys. So you got to go out there and sometimes you end up playing a little dirtier than you should, which has absolutely been the case with Marchand throughout his career. He was drafted 71st overall in 2006 by Boston. I think they got good value in that pick. But he's been the most suspended player in NHL history. He passed Chris Pronger with his 8th suspension in 2022. I kind of have to talk about the suspensions first, get this out of the way. March 17th of 2011, as a rookie, he suspended 2 games for an elbow on R.J. Umberger. January 9th of 2012, he suspended 5 games for the low bridge hit on Sami Salo, which is when Canuck fans got really mad. And even me as a Bruins fan, I was really upset when that took place. Salo, of course, no stranger to injury, and that was the first thing any Canuck fan thought was, holy crap, he went low on Salo. January 6th of 2015, he suspended 2 games for a slew foot on Derek Brassard. December 30th of 2015, he suspended 3 games for clipping Mark Borowiecki. April 6th of 2017, he suspended 2 games for spearing Jake Dotchin. January 24th of 2018, he suspended 5 games for elbowing Matthias Johansson, or Marcus Johansson, sorry. January 24th of 2018, that's where he's suspended for that one. November 29th of 2021, he suspended 3 games for a slew foot on Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So 2 of his suspensions have come out of games against the Canucks. February 9th of 2022, he was suspended 6 games for roughing / a high stick / mugging on Tristan Jarry, which is the most recent suspension. And he came out and admitted after, that was a mistake. He's also been fined 5 times. He licked Ryan Callahan back in 2018. So what more is there to say? And that wasn't suspendable, apparently, or finable, as the NHL probably watched that in horror and went, we don't have anything for this, do we? Why does Marchand keep doing this to us? And of course, there's other moments. Anytime you bring up Marchand, you're going to have people bringing up other moments. Now, the interesting part is, the last suspension in February 9th of 2022, he still plays on the edge, but it does feel like his game is not as dirty as it was. And I know that's not good enough for people, and I get that. But as a Bruins fan, I've been torn because I've watched him play throughout. And, I mean, his rookie year, he just had the 1 assist in 20 games. He looked like he'd be a really good energy bottom 6 player. His rookie year, 77 games in 2010, 2011, 21 goals, 20 assists, 41 points. Those totals are good. Is it overshadowed by his suspension? Yep. But then they win the Stanley Cup. He had 11 goals and 8 assists for 19 points in that 25-game run to the Stanley Cup. He was a key part of Boston winning that Stanley Cup. 2011-2012, 28 goals, 27 assists, 55 points. Again, the points totals are great. In the playoffs, just the 1 goal, 1 assist in 7 games. So 55 points in 78 games is good. But again, is his playing on the edge, getting more attention? Yep. 2012-2013, lockout shortened season, 45 games, 18 goals, 18 assists, 36 points. Boston goes all the way to the Stanley Cup final. He plays 22 games, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. So not as many points as he had the first run to the final, and of course they don't win against Chicago in the final. 2013-2014, plays all 82 games, doesn't get suspended that year. 25 goals, 28 assists, 53 points. In the playoffs, 5 assists in 12 games. So, again, he's progressing. 2014-2015, 77 games. His numbers actually come back a bit. 24 goals, 18 assists, 42 points. And the player he would become, not really any indication to that point of what was yet to come. But 2015-2016, 77 games, 37 goals, which is 6th in the NHL, 24 assists, 61 points. So top 10 in goals in the NHL, that's good. 2016-2017, 80 games, 39 goals, that's still his career high. 4 Fourth, I should say, in the overall standings. I don't think we'll ever see him at 40 goals. I think if we were going to, it would have happened by now. That 39 is as close as he gets. 46 assists, 85 points. That's fifth overall in the NHL that year. In the playoffs, 6 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. And this is where the debate comes in. He's a first-team All-Star that year. He's also 7th in Hart voting and goes to the All-Star game. So he was 7th in Hart voting. That's MVP in the National Hockey League. And considering how many good players are in Boston, that's definitely an interesting number. 2017-2018 only plays 68 games that year, ends up with 34 goals, 81 assists, 85 points. So same number of points, playing 12 less games. In the playoffs, 12 games, 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points. He was 10th in Selke voting and plays in his second straight All-Star game. To this point, the only All-Star games he's been in, but if not for playing in Boston, he probably would have had other All-Star games. Boston's usually got numerous All-Stars. So the fact he's above a point per game in the playoffs there, it's just he's a very good playoff producer. Yes, he rides the line. Yes, he crosses the line. I totally understand why people don't like him. But at the same time, from a Boston perspective, he produces. 2018-2019, 79 games, 36 goals, 64 assists, which is the 8th overall. His 100 points, 5th overall, so that's his 100-point season. To date, the only one that he's had. He's not going to get there this year. 24 games in the playoffs, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. So Boston goes to the final. He's the leading scorer for the entire playoffs that year. He's the second-team All-Star yet again. 9th in Hart voting and 9th in Selke voting. I think if he played down the middle, he'd get more attention for Selke. He's one of the best shorthanded players in National Hockey League history. Shorthanded goals, he's top 10 all time. And it's notable when, he's out on the ice penalty killing, and especially when he and Bergeron were out there together. So dangerous. 2020-2021, 53 games. That was, of course, a 56-game season. 29 goals, which is 6th overall. 40 assists, which is 10th overall. So is 69 points, 3rd overall in the NHL that year. 11 games in the playoffs, 8 goals, 4 assists, 12 points. First team All-Star, 5th in Hart voting, 9th in Selke voting. 2021-2022, 70 games played, 32 goals, 48 assists, 80 points. So that is 6 straight seasons, I should say, that he's above a point per game. Remarkable. In this era, it's remarkable. 7 games played in the playoffs, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. Last year, of course, the tremendous run that Boston had, 73 games for Marchand, 21 goals, 46 assists, 67 points. So his offensive numbers drop off, but they still won almost all their games. In the playoffs, of course, they fell short in the first round. I don't put that on Marchand. He had 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points in 7 games. And then before this season, they named him team captain, September 20th. Bergeron retires, and of course it went to Bergeron from Chara. Now Marchand has it, so that's 3 different captains from that era. And, I mean, he's played 53 games this season, 25 goals, 25 assists, 50 points. He's still around a point per game. He's played 1,000 games in his career, 397 goals, so he's close to 400, 515 assists, 912 points. Very real chance that over the next couple of years he ends up reaching 1,000 points. In the playoffs, 146 games, 53 goals, 75 assists, 128 points. 1,028 penalty minutes in his regular season career, which honestly I was kind of surprised it's not higher. I'm mildly surprised it's not higher, considering his suspension history. Pronger's numbers were high with penalty minutes. With Marchand, and I've talked about this before, a lot of these incidents and a lot of the fining incidents are going to be where Boston's losing games. One thing that always has frustrated me with Marchand is that his temper tends to come out at maybe the worst times. And so it's not like these incidents helped Boston. They're incidents that often are born out of frustration. He, at times in his career, his temperament has got to him. So I totally understand why people don't like Marchand. I did get a Marchand jersey. I found one for cheap on Sport Check site, and I ordered it thinking, well, this might be fun to wear in a video at some point. I think I've worn it once. Thought about wearing it for this video, and I thought, I'm not going to wear it for this video either. Because, again, I get why people don't like Brad Marchand. Totally understand. I do think there are times where people overstate his dirty play from the past and then extrapolate it into now and in the future. I don't see a player who has dirty plays every single game. I don't see a player who goes out there intending to injure people all the time. but I do understand why people feel that way. So, as a Boston fan, yeah, there's a line there, and at times he crosses it, and I have never argued against any of the suspensions, nor have I argued against when he gets penalized, and he does. There are times he gets penalized during games because he's in the area, and a referee's pretty sure, yep, Marchand, you do not get the benefit of the doubt. He generally doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from the officials on the ice. But I do understand why people get upset with his play and with certain plays that he's gotten away with. I'm not going to pretend he hasn't. He absolutely has. But I do think he's matured. The thing is, again, I understand why people would look at that and go, no, he hasn't, and slap that comment down. So, that being said, let me know your thoughts about Marchand. What will be remembered about him? Will he be remembered for the suspensions and all the plays people didn't like? Will he be remembered as a really, really good player? A guy who maybe scores 1,000 points? Is he going to end up having the Dale Hunter treatment? Dale Hunter had a really long career. Very, very good player, but he's remembered for dirty incidents. He's remembered for being a dirty player, even though he had over 1,000 points. So is that where Marchand's headed? And I think Hunter, if not for some of those controversial plays, I think Dale Hunter probably would have made it to the Hall of Fame. So does that end up keeping Marchand out? It's a question to be asked. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you haven't anyways. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a ton. Again, totally understand people who support Marchand, totally understand people who don't. And I don't think there's much room in the middle. I don't think there's many people who don't have an opinion on Brad Marchand. Thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you soon enough.